Hello and welcome. It's Lee Murira again, author and founder of from Means to Ends. I really want to thank you. I'm assuming you are here now because obviously you've registered and signed up for the course. So I want to really thank you for making this decision. It's a very important decision, especially given how much information that you're surrounded with, how much seminars, how much, every day you go online now or on the web, you always come across some coach teaching something and mentors and seminars and everything else like that. So you kind of get lost in all that kind of web. So I want to champion you. Thank you very much. And this is the first course. Self-Development 101. I'm very proud of the title of the course, Self-Development 101, simply because when I started my self-help journey a few years back, it was just probably maybe say a hit and miss. Simply I started by reading a book. I think I mentioned earlier in a different video that it might have been for me the what book was it? The Magic of Thinking Big or Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And I don't know where you started off your journey. It could probably maybe be a different book. It could be a seminar, webinar, podcast, or anything else. But the thing is, you start from somewhere. Okay, moving on. I spent years reading. When I started first, I thought, oh, well, tell you what. If I just get what I need to know, if I get the secrets, then I can simply get on with life and have the success that I wanted. But no, it didn't quite happen that way. Once I started, few months, few years down the line, I found myself caught up in other things that I had no intention of studying at first when I began. I was now delving into psychology at a deeper level, religion, and all other different laws of the universe or other. And it took me a long time to get to the point where I said, okay, this is it. I am forgetting the reason why I started off in the first place. And looking at where I was with all the information that I had, I just couldn't make any sense of it. Like, how could this be? I thought, I would study a few weeks or a few months, be where I wanted to be. But no, it wasn't quite like that. So this course, Self-Development 101, is to help and save you time. And believe you me when I say save you time, because you can pretty much get on the way you're carrying on now. Probably maybe you might want to fail at it yourself before you come to your point to realize like, oh, okay, tell you what, maybe I should find some guidance. But because you are here now, you have signed up for the course, I know you want the guidance, and I know and appreciate your time here with me. Okay, now this course, Self-Development 101, it's more structured, or the fundamentals are from my first book, From Means to Ends. Now, I am a bit reluctant to call From Means to Ends my book. I mean, obviously now, because it's all printed in hardcover and electronic copies. But at the start, at the beginning, the intention was not to write the book. I did not even know, even at the time, that I was writing probably what I could call a book now. It was a personal journal of suffering through reading, suffering as in lost in the web of information, self-help information, and not really knowing like, okay, so what happens now? I had many books, probably maybe even enough to open a small library in a small village somewhere. Many books surrounded me, and I had expended a lot of energy, effort, and money, but still nowhere close, or even getting nearer, or the results that I wanted and needed. That's the time I decided to stop. And from means to ends, I was looking at fundamentals. I asked myself just the questions that I knew if I could not answer those questions, then basically there's pretty much nothing else more that I could have done. So from means to ends, this book here, this was my first, and I said this was a journal. I have got everything that you would read in this book written pen on paper. And I'll tell you what, this book, the bulk of it was written on the National Express coach on the journey between London and Portsmouth. That's where most of it was written. I was doing a course at the time, so I was traveling from Portsmouth to London pretty much. I think it was 3 days a week. And that was all in pursuit of a dream and desire. But I had reached a point where self-help, just self-help alone could not take me where I wanted to go. So I started writing the fundamentals. I started putting down, and the first question, which is everything else that I'm going to say here, I'm going to cover in the course as we go on. The first question I had to ask myself is, okay, how well do I really know myself? Over the years, I thought I knew myself. I mean, it's pretty much easy. You get up or whatever you do, you stand in front of the mirror. Whatever image is projected there, that's basically you, right? And sometimes it's not always what you see. It's also what you think about yourself. But that image might not be correct because you can only see what you want to see. So to know oneself, and for me to know myself, I pretty much didn't think that it would be any difficult, because I mean, come on, we all think we know ourselves. We wake up with the same self pretty much every day. But when you're going deeper, and when you really want to get to a point where you're comfortable with what you're doing and the results, you are going to find that sometimes you're going to start rejecting the self that you've always thought of yourself being. Rejecting some of the thoughts and the beliefs that you've always had. Because, I mean, right now here, as you are listening to me now, you do have certain beliefs that you hold very dear. And I'm pretty much certain some of those beliefs are unchecked, but you believe them and you follow them with dear life. You react in different situations and circumstances in all certain and different ways. But if you really try and look back, and this is something that I would go deeper into as we get in the course, you will find that the attributes to your character and how you behave and your habits are were pretty much learned from either a childhood experience or the people that you spend most of your time with. But all that has to fall apart, because now what you want is a new beginning with an old you, yes, but the old you as in just the physical you, but the way that you process things, the way that you now think, the way that you now have to participate has to be new. If that is not changed, or if you do not change that, you will always be the same old you. For the same new years and many more coming ahead, you will always be the same you. So I'm going to go deeper into teaching more about knowing yourself and how to go about that. The moment you get to know yourself more, I mean, this is only just scratching the surface. There's a lot more that goes into it, and I will go deeper into it. But just to jump on to the next stage, I'm going to speak now about desire and dreams. I don't know what your dreams are. I don't know what you desire, and sometimes you might probably maybe not even know, or pretty much have forgotten what your dreams are. This happens because, you know, as we grow from young, we are pretty much interested in certain things, but as time and life starts putting demands on us, we find ourselves caught up and spread thinly over all the other things that we need to do. And with time, we forget that inner part of ourselves, that dream that has always been there. We forget the desire that we have always envisioned, because life has put its demands on us, and we have submitted. Because in the world, as the world is today, anyway, I mean, obviously, you have to have a job, you have to pay your bills, you have responsibilities, you have family, and everything else that is vying for your undivided attention, and there's little time for anything else. Even times to have some social time out, you probably maybe squeeze it here and there, but the bulk of your time is pretty much occupied with other things that are very very important to you. Now, when I speak of dreams and desires, you will find that if you're not very clear what your dream is, you will spend pretty much most of the time just wishing and fantasizing for something that might not even come into play. That's a dream, right? And a dream has no form, shape, or has no size at all. You should not limit the way or how you must dream. But there's also desire. Now, there's a funny thing that happens between desire and dream. Your desire is not your dream. Those are two different and parallel things. Your desire can and might contribute towards your dream, but your desire is never your dream. But then how can you define between the two? How do you know that, okay, fair, this is my dream and this is my desire? In shorthand version, I can quickly tell you that your dream, you pretty much knew what you wanted to be or become by the time you were 10 years old. It doesn't matter where you were. I was born in Africa, and even at 10 years old, I was, sort of pushing bricks and playing in sand and mud. But even at that time, I knew I had a dream. And I knew that, okay, this is something that I would really enjoy and love seeing myself doing. You see. But because of the place that I was brought up in, I had to protect my dream. Because it would be very too optimistic to talk of international dreams when you're in a place. I mean, to be honest, I didn't even have a passport anyway to start talking about a dream that would see me abroad and, sort of overseas, right? That's my dream. We put that to the side. You know your dream, or if you don't know your dream, here's a quick checklist. Try look back at those times when you were growing up. What were the most things that you were most interested in? Things that you would probably maybe just literally cannot wait to get up in the morning. And you have to be called back home. Because otherwise you would not leave. You'd spend all your time doing that what you enjoy. It might not come back straight away just like that. It might take a whole lot of memories. It might take a whole lot of deeper thinking to try and get to that. But just keep probing the question. Keep probing the question. The more time you ask the question, the more clearer it becomes. Desire is just simple. Desire is what excites you, what brings you joy. Yeah, what do you enjoy doing? That's desire. So dreams and desire, again, we'll go deeper into this. But then you see, when you've got when you know yourself, like I said first, and now you've found out or remembered what your dream and desire is, you now have to make a decision. And this is where it all comes into play. Everybody has got a dream. Everyone has got a desire. And some, they just live with a dream and a desire pretty much until the day they die. But some, they pretty much live with that dream and desire until the day that dream and desire literally dies inside of them. And they just pretty much a shell. You have to make a decision. And to make a decision is not to have a choice. You might choose what you want in life. We all make different choices. We're surrounded by choices every day. Even what to eat is all down to choice every single day. But a decision, when you make a decision to go after what you want, now that's different. Because a decision also brings challenges. A decision will challenge you and will challenge your surroundings, environment, the people around you, and everything else that you've believed or followed. If you make it through the decision, past the decision point, you are going to now meet a thing called fear. Now, fear is not as frightful as probably maybe meeting a lion in the jungle, or maybe a snake, or anything else like that. Fear is just the doubts and trepidations that you're going to have about yourself. Not so much about yourself, but about that which you're thinking of doing. Like, you start thinking yourself, am I really the kind of person who's going to be able to do this? Will I pull it off? If it doesn't work, what is the world going to say? But okay, tell you what this thing that I really want to do, if it was that good, or if it will pay off, how come many people are not doing it? You will give yourself reasons. And the more reasons you give yourself, you will also then answer yourself as well. Like, oh, well, you know what? Probably maybe I'm trying to aim too high. So we'll leave it for another time. Or maybe just forget it. Let's go on and find a job that's a job that's secure, a job that pays the bills, a job that sort of make you meet your responsibilities. That's what fear does. But you make it pass through the fear stage. Now you're getting in the world of faith. And faith, my friend, is a very important thing in anything that you do. Now, I'm not talking about faith in God or faith in whatever your beliefs are. I'm talking about faith in yourself, faith in what you want to do, faith in knowing and believing that, yes, this is what I want to do. And the problem is, or what I should probably maybe warn you now, is when you know what you want to do, you must just know that and stop there. Stop there. The moment you say, okay, this is what I want to do, and this is how I'm going to do it, you've literally just gone off course. You don't know how everything is going to play out. Nobody ever knows that. And it's not your job to know how something is going to play out. Your job is to know what you want and stick to that. Start taking action on that. Start working towards that. But know what you want. How it's going to play out, nobody knows. You may try, but you would obviously, you may think you're planning by writing down, okay, this is how I'm going to do A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. But hardly anything on that list is going to play out the way that you've expected or have written it all down. But with faith, you're going to carry on. Like, I know what I want, and I am going to go for it. I am not going to stop at anything. I don't know how it's going to play out, but I'm pretty much going to move on forward and keep going. Now, you see, the things that I spoke about you knowing yourself, knowing your desire and dreams, decision, fear, and faith. These are the things that you have to know. These are the things that you can literally, read about. You know these things. They become part of your thinking. They become part of your doing. But now when you want the results, you have to start participating. Because just knowing all that I've mentioned is not going to change anything. Faith will cause all different sorts of things to happen. The moment you make the decision and the moment you go past beyond fear, faith is all you need. You don't know, you might not even have the resources. I mean, this is almost a far cry in business and enterprise. Like you would find that the most blamed handicap is lack of capital, and lack of support, lack of resources, and all that. They're all well and good. But if you look back, or the stories that you read about and everything else like that, you'll find that most of the people that go on to, become icons, they pretty much started from very, very humble beginnings. So you're not going to get the day where you have all the capital that you need, whether you want to go into business or that, to say, okay, now I'm ready. No. You have to know what you want. And the more you know what you want, the things or people, some unbeknown to you now, will be brought to you. I don't know how. If you ask me, like, how does that happen? I don't know. This is just life as we know it. And those things have happened even in your life. You've noticed that there were times that you maybe were thinking of getting something, and you didn't know how. Obviously, you don't need to know how. But the more you press on that, you started getting or meeting or hearing things that were associated with that what you wanted to get. I mean, I'll give you a very example, but I think this example is so overused and exhausted. The example of when you're looking to buy a car, right? The more when you've made the decision to buy a certain type of car, for some reason you start noticing that car pretty much everywhere. It's like, oh, okay, there's that car. It's pretty much everywhere. But does that mean that car hasn't been there all this time when you're not thinking about it? No, it has been. But you have not been noticing it because it didn't have any significance to you. But now it has got value. You've placed a value on it. So you notice things like that. You notice that, yes, it's there. Same is with everything else. Same is going after what you want. You put value on that. And when you put value on that, you start attracting the things and people that are going to help you progress, that are going to help you achieve the results that you want and get to where you want. So like I mentioned, the first thing that I mentioned, to know yourself, the desire and dreams, the decision, the fear, and having faith. Those are all things that you literally just have to know. And the next stage, which is the most important stage. I mean, we've all asked for things that we want in life. I don't know where you ask, whether you ask from God, you ask from yourself, you ask from, I don't know, mom and dad. We all ask for certain things. And as in life, adult life now, the things that we yearn for are pretty much obviously the things that we don't have, but these are the things that we desire. These are the things that we even dream about or even fantasize about. Now, asking for something is one thing. Receiving is a completely and totally different process to asking. And receiving is the most difficult part, because what might be keeping you where you are today is not because fortune is not in your favor. No. It may well be the fact that you have not prepared yourself ready to receive. And now when I say you have not prepared yourself, it does not mean that, well, maybe if your dream is to be a millionaire, you say, oh no, I'm ready. I play the lottery every day. I'm just ready to receive. What do you mean I'm not ready? Being ready to receive involves a process. It involves growth. It involves new habits and new beliefs. You have to grow from where you are right now, or you have to transform to that which you want to become. Because to be honest, if you honestly get what you want right now, you think it will make you happy? No, it might not. You think it will solve your problems and everything else? No, far from it. It may well be the catalyst to your demise. Examples again of the lotto winners, they win millions. Life all of a sudden, has turned out good for them. But a few years down the line, they find themselves in the same predicament they were even before the winnings. And you wonder, like, oh, you probably maybe saying to yourself, oh, come on now, you know what? For me, it's different. If I have to win millions in lottery, I'll probably just be living on the interest. I know you'll be saying that. Everybody says that. But it's a different thing when it happens to you. What you need to cultivate, what you need to grow in yourself are the habits and the characteristics. It should not make any difference today whether you've got $10 in your pocket or whether you've got 10,000 or even 10 million at it. But knowing you as you are now, if you were to be given $1 million just like that, the world will know that, oh no, you have come across a surplus or windfall. You know, we will know. The shops that you probably maybe shop into now, you probably maybe just go past Primark and Walmart. You know, now you're going to the high-end designer shops, because these are the things that you feel like, okay, these are the symbols that are going to represent my success. Far from it. If you're the going out type, you know, you should probably be popping bottles all night, and in other circles you make it rain, right? Receiving has to do with the characteristics. Receiving has to do with the habits. Receiving has to do with the preparation of you becoming and being that person that you want to be. You want to be. You are not ready now. I must tell you that, and I'm sorry to tell you that. And well, actually, I'm not sorry to tell you that, but it will help you and save you time to tell you that you are not ready as much as you think you are ready. If you don't have certain habits in place, that what you want is only just going to harm you. We'll go again deeper into that. When you start taking action towards your dreams, towards your desire, things start changing. But now you're participating, you're taking action. And remember, taking action is not just doing anything. You know, and I think in one of my earlier videos, I was talking about movement, the difference between movement and progress. Movement is anything that you do thinking that you're working towards something but brings little results. What you need is progress and growth. And I will teach you that in here. Because right now you might be busy. Right now you might be doing all you can, but the results are not supporting you. The results are probably maybe very little to the time that you're expending on that. You're doing a lot of movements, but hardly any progress. With that will come change, will go into change. Because nothing ever happens if you don't change from what you are now. And it's not so much about just you changing. It's knowing how to make everlasting change. How to be okay with yourself. How to be okay not even sitting in front of the TV or stuff like that. We need to start converting that time to put it into more useful time. You need to be spending more time with yourself that's surrounded by Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and all that there. We need your you time. When all that is done, we're going to get to the bottom of success. And I can tell you right now, when we get to success, you're pretty much going to be surprised what real success is. It's not the materials. It's not what you want to become. It's not anywhere close or along those lines, right? So this has been just a quick rundown of the course and the structure. Self-Development 101. Self-Development 101 is very fundamental even to me, you know, because when I started, I wished and hoped and prayed that if there was something like this in place to set me on the right foot, to you know, sort of guide me, to make me know what I need to know, and take me stages and stages and stages, rather than just leaving me out there just, you know, bouncing from book to book, from podcasts, from anything else in between. Self-Development 101, I've especially designed it for you, whether you're a novice, you're new to the process, or whether you've been at it for some time. If you've been at studying self-help for some time, you are going to be confronted with some of the beliefs that you've cultivated over the time and some of the ways that you've been taught. You're going to start again from one. And with this course, it's not going to take you years. It's only going to take you a few weeks to know what you must know, so that you are ready and prepared. If your goal is probably maybe to go and be a coach or motivational speaker and stuff like that, then probably maybe you need to carry on ahead. But if you were like me when I started out, I only needed to know what I needed to do in order to pursue my desire and dreams.